All right, it's a little past 9 o'clock. Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Amy, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. We're here on a permanency hearing. Ms. Gutierrez is with us representing the department. Mr. Ingram's with us representing the child. Ms. Grant is with us representing the mother, Ms. Holman, who is with us. And Mr. Cabello, I show, is still incarcerated. That accounts for all the parties. I have Amy Prader in the waiting room.
Thank you, Your Honor. If she could be let in, please.
Okay.
And is there a Tristan Sutterfield in the waiting room as well?
No, ma'am. Amy Prader's the only one in the waiting room.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Gutierrez is the one you're having Ms. Sessions check on. Is that your first witness?
It is, Your Honor, but I can go ahead and start with Amy.
Okay.
Okay, the department calls Amy Prader as its witness. Thank you, Your Honor. Amy, who do you work for?
I'm a permanency specialist for St. Francis Ministries.
And what do you do for them? Oh, I'm sorry. Withdraw that question. And did you file a court report on July 25th of 2024?
I did.
Your Honor, we ask that the court take judicial notice of that court report.
All right. So noted, and I have read the report.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Amy, since the filing of that court report, are there any updates on Josiah?
Yes, she was recently prescribed glasses. Foster placement had concerns about a lazy eye, so she was taken to the eye doctor. They are using glasses for about 6 to 8 weeks to correct that. And if it doesn't, then she might need a small in-office procedure.
And is the child also in play therapy?
Yes.
And why is she in play therapy?
She does experience some tantrums, kind of emotional distress. Early on in the case, we were seeing behaviors that were not age appropriate for her. When she would fly into these tantrums, she would pull her own eyelashes out, bite herself, pull on her face, kind of knock her head against the wall, things like that. And it wasn't normal for a 2-year-old.
Have those behaviors improved since the beginning of the case?
Yes.
And forgive me, but your court report indicated she's in speech therapy. Is that a typo, or is the child in speech therapy as well?
She is in speech therapy as well. Actually, she just graduated recently from speech therapy.
Okay, that's wonderful to hear. Are there any updates regarding Josiah? Any other updates?
Not that I know of.
Okay. How is Alayla Holman doing on her services?
She has completed 2 services so far. She has done her psychosocial evaluation as well as her MHMR evaluation with Texas Panhandle Centers. And she just was referred to a new therapist. Unfortunately, due to too many missed sessions, she was dropped from Jennings counseling. But we do have her in with a newer therapist.
Okay. And as far as her psychosocial, were there any recommended services from her psychosocial that we need to ask to be ordered?
Just continued therapy and regular access to the kiddo.
And from the MHMR evaluation, are there any recommendations from that evaluation that we need to ask to be ordered?
No, there were not.
Now, and for clarification, is Ms. Holman still working on the initial 6 therapy sessions that were in her original service plan?
She is.
Okay. And I believe there was an issue with WAVE. Can you please explain what the issue with WAVE was?
Yes, Alayla and I both were following up with Family Support Services on the WAVE program. I did get in contact with them not too long ago, and I was informed that Alayla wouldn't meet criteria for WAVE due to her past not being aggressive with intimate partners.
And so it was people and siblings, I believe. Is that correct, that most of the fighting was occurring with?
From what I'm aware, yes.
Okay. What services are we asking the court to order in lieu of WAVE?
Rational behavioral therapy coupled with anger management.
Are we asking for any drug screens on Ms. Holman today?
Yes.
Which ones?
Hair follicle, urine analysis, and alcohol screening.
And is either parent visiting with the child?
Isaiah Cabello is currently incarcerated, but Alayla has regular visits with Isaiah.
How are those visits going?
Overall, they do go very well. Alayla has missed about 50% of her visits, though.
Am I allowed to speak?
When it's your turn, if a lawyer wants to question you, you can.
Has she given any explanations for missing those visits?
Yes, Alayla just had a baby in late May, so she had a healthy newborn son. The reasons that she's given to me is that either she didn't have a ride or that she would be sleeping in. Oftentimes when Alayla misses these visits, we try to check in with her. My FSW, Tristan Sutterfield, will text her in the morning. And if we don't hear back by a certain time, we text placement and ask that Jose not come.
Okay, so it sounds like there's some sort of requirement for Ms. Holman to contact St. Francis before the visit happens to confirm that it's happening. Is that correct?
Yes, we asked
Objection, leading question, Judge.
Sustained.
Amy, what is currently in place for Ms. Holman to confirm her visit is going to happen, if any?
We've asked that she confirm 24 hours before the visit, just on visit location and time, whether or not she needs anything. Since we've started struggling to make it to visits, I have asked Ms. Holman to show up at our office or the visit location at least 30 minutes early, just for travel time for Josiah as well. So far, if she makes a morning visit, she is pretty compliant with showing up early.
Now, as far as rides, you mentioned that sometimes Ms. Holman doesn't have a ride. Is St. Francis offering rides to Ms. Holman?
Yes.
And so what is occurring that the rides St. Francis is offering is still resulting in mom not having visits or missing visits, rather?
My understanding is that she has rides in the morning. It's her Friday afternoon visits that our FSW is picking her up for. He recently just started doing that due to Alayla's vehicle situation changing. As far as the morning visits, she has not told me whether or not she needs a ride. But we have requested on a couple of occasions transporters to go pick her up for these morning visits, just to at least kind of show up, and she can decline whether or not she needs a ride when they get there. And we have gotten a few, but Alayla's texted me and said that she didn't need a ride.
Now, as far as, one more question. When was the most recent missed visit by Ms. Holman?
It was last week, last Tuesday.
Are there any other concerns with Alayla's home at this time?
Yes, I haven't been able to see the home in a few weeks, but the last time I was in her home, it did have a strong odor of marijuana.
And since that incident, has Ms. Holman been communicated with you as court ordered?
I've talked to her a couple of times, just regarding her therapy. And then we did text over the weekend about her court link for today.
Okay. Has Ms. Holman said anything about Josiah that has concerned you?
Yes.
What was that?
I've heard reports that Alayla's made a comment about whether or not everything going on is worth getting Josiah back.
Okay. Now, what is Ms. Holman's living situation?
She lives with two of her sisters.
Okay. And are those the same two sisters, or is one of them the same sister from the removal time frame?
Yes, it is.
Okay. What are we asking the court to do today as far as drug screens for the people in the household?
We would like to ask them to go drug screen.
Do you have the name of the roommates?
Yes.
Can I please speak?
You
And
will, ma'am, you'll have your turn in a minute. I'm going to put you in a breakout room with your lawyer so y'all can discuss what questions to ask you.
Okay, well, she keeps
No.
popping up randomly drug
Excuse me.
screening.
Excuse me, ma'am. I'll put you in a breakout room with Miss Grant. Y'all can discuss the questions that Miss Grant can ask you to get to what you're trying to get out now. We have a procedure that we follow in this court. Go ahead, Ms. Gutierrez. You can finish your questioning.
thank you, Your Honor. Amy, do you have the full names of the other adults in the household?
I do.
And what are they?
Vanessa.
Your Honor, I want to object to this line of questioning as the roommates are not subject to an order of this court.
I want to hear who they are, but you're exactly correct. I can't order someone that's not a party to do anything. So
Thank you, Judge.
Amy, what are the names of the roommates, please?
Mia Holman and Vanessa Holman.
Now, are we concerned about the prospect of Josiah returning to her mother at this time?
Yes.
Do we feel that it is contrary to her welfare?
At this time, yes.
And do we believe it would present a danger to her physical health or well-being?
At this time, yeah.
How is Mr. Gaveo doing on his services?
He's recently been transferred to the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. He's in a unit that's in Abilene, Texas. He has stated that he wants to begin services. He is waitlisted for a parenting class and also a class called Changes. We're looking at this being the equivalent to batterer's intervention.
And is he writing letters or anything to Josiah?
Not that he has sent me, no.
Is he asking about Josiah?
In his visits with his local permanency specialist, yes.
And going back to the home situation of Miss Holman, is she on the lease for that home where she is currently residing?
I believe so, yes.
Have you seen a copy of it?
I have not.
And as far as Mr. Gaveo, are there any other additional services that we are asking to be ordered for him?
Not at this time.
Are we asking the court to order the case to mediation?
Yes.
Pass the witness.
all right, thank you. Ms. Prader, at the time I read the report, at that time there was a pending an alcohol screening that had not come back. Did it come back?
Yes, sir, it did. That one was a mistake done by the clinic. The clinic actually did 2 urine analysis assessments. They were both negative.
Okay, so there was not an alcohol screening.
No, sir.
Okay. And then I also read in the report that on July 19th, the mother contacted St. Francis and said she no longer was going to work with St. Francis and to stay away from her home. Was that you that she made that statement to?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have y'all talked about it since then?
No, sir.
So you're staying away from her home because she told you to?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Mrs. Grant, do you want me to put you in the breakout room and then you can start your questioning?
Yes, please, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Ms. Holman, I'm going to open a breakout room for you and your lawyer. Y'all you may be asked to join it, or it may just put you in there automatically.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, for clarification, are they meeting to see what questions they're going to ask Amy?
I'm going to let her ask whoever she wants. I'm giving her a chance to talk to her lawyer, to her client, because her client's
Oh, you're muted, Your Honor.
Ms. Gutierrez, I'm letting them talk because they have the right to talk.
Oh, Your Honor, I don't object to it. I'm just checking to see where we are in the witness list.
We're going to wait, and then Ms. Grant's going to question Ms. Prader when they come back.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Ms. Grant, you can go ahead with your questions of Ms. Prader.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Prader, you stated that there are 3 people living in the apartment, correct?
Yes.
You've not witnessed Alayla smoking marijuana, correct?
No, ma'am.
Alayla has not failed any drug screens for either you or probation during the pendency of this case for marijuana, correct?
She did early on in the case, I believe in October of 23, but not since she's been released from jail, no.
Okay. And she's actually not failed any drug screens for anything, correct?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Since, okay. And have you opened a case on her son because of the smell of marijuana?
Your Honor, I'm going to object. That information is confidential. If Ms. Prader did make an intake, if Ms. Prader wants to answer, that's fine, but I do object based on confidentiality.
Yeah, Ms. Prater, you can't say if there has been a report made or not, but if you know anything about her question, you can answer it if you can.
I've spoken with an investigator on a case, yes.
And what are the concerns that you may have with her current infant?
I have no concerns other than the smell of marijuana that was in her home recently.
Okay. Now the reason you haven't contacted Alayla is because she got very frustrated and asked that you not do that, correct?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I'm going to object. I mean, she implemented into that question that the mom was very frustrated. I object to speculation.
Overruled. You can answer, Ms. Prater.
Yes,
Okay, for whatever reason, you were asked not to contact her, correct?
yes.
Did Alayla express frustration with the number of workers that have been brought to her house?
Not to me, no.
Okay. Have you arrived at her house with several different workers?
I usually bring another worker with me, yes.
Okay, and those are not workers on her case. Those are just workers to accompany you to the visit. Am I correct?
Yes, it is a safety issue.
Okay, so if she has concerns that there's too many workers on the case, can you explain why there's other workers to ease her mind?
Yes, so there was a parent support worker that was assigned to her case early on. That worker has since been removed. There's Tristan Sutterfield, who's a family support worker. He monitors our visits with us. Worker Yolanda Novak usually accompanies me to those visits. He's usually the same worker, just for our personal safety reasons.
Okay, and so you are the assigned caseworker, is that true?
I am.
And who is your supervisor or person directing your work if you're unavailable? Is it Erin Sessions?
No, ma'am, it's Stacy Brown.
Okay, and so those are the two people that Alayla would be required to communicate to, or whoever you designate in your absence, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and so if Alayla is willing to re-engage with St. Francis, would you be willing to re-engage with her?
Yes.
Okay, she had a car issue where the engine in her car blew up, correct?
Yes.
But since y'all haven't been communicating, you're probably not aware of a new car, correct?
No, I am not.
If I represented to you that she got a new car on July 15th, would that be a positive effort in her case?
I believe so, yes.
Thank you. And the drug screens, the drug screen for alcohol that was missed at the last screening was not the fault of Ms. Holman, but a mistake at the lab, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And what lab was used that made the mistake?
Prime medical testing.
Okay, and was that a mistake on the paperwork, or did the lab just do the wrong drug screen?
I'm not sure.
Okay, would you mind following up with that so that we might have that for the final hearing, if any is had?
Yes.
And Alayla had a baby, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know when that baby was born?
I believe on May 30th, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
25th.
Okay, I was going to say that, Alayla. I got it. Don't worry. So around the end of May, but if I represent to you that it's May 25th, would you have any reason to disagree?
No, I wouldn't. We were notified on the 30th.
Okay, so you're going by your notification, which is reasonable. Correct?
Yes.
Yes. And have you been allowed to view that infant upon visits to the home?
Yes.
And you've been allowed to inspect the infant for any signs of abuse, correct?
Yes, I have.
Are there any signs of abuse on the infant?
Not from what I can tell, no.
Okay. Does he appear healthy by appearance to you?
Yes.
And does he seem engaged with his mother, and she's providing Did you observe her providing any care for him?
Yes, she's very attentive.
Okay. And as to the smell of marijuana, that is the only concern that's been raised in the apartment in regard to the apartment, correct?
Yes, I have raised concerns that her sister Amia is living there. To my
Okay.
knowledge, Alayla has a Section 8 application out right now, and she states that she would like to move out as soon as possible.
Okay. And is she working to your knowledge since she just had a baby?
No,
Okay. If the roommates are willing to take a drug screen, you could would the department pay for that?
I'm unsure. I believe we could if it is court ordered, yes.
Okay. And if court doesn't order it, but they're willing to do it and they can't afford it, do you have any ability to check into some cost assistance?
Yes, I can discuss that with my supervisor.
Okay. And at this time, how many visits have occurred versus how many have missed? I know you said approximately 50%, but can you give me a number like visits versus missed visits?
I believe from the last time that we've had a hearing, it was about 16. I'm not 100% sure on that. I know it's usually our morning visits that we struggle with.
Okay. And how many has she missed?
Approximately 16.
She's missed 16 out of how many?
Out of, I believe, at least 32. I'm not 100% on that number.
Okay, so you're going back. How far are you going back when you say missed visits? All the way to October?
No, ma'am, since we implemented the 2-hour visits.
Okay, and that's 2 hours once a week?
Yes, ma'am. Or 1 hour twice a week. Yes.
1 hour. Okay, so twice a week is why we have a number of visits that seems high, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And some of those visits were missed after she had her baby, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So one of the things you're asking today is for visits to be consistent. Would that be true?
Yes.
And what time are the visits? Are they scheduled consistently or do they move around?
Sometimes they move around according to Jizaiah's schedule. I anticipate those will
Okay.
get a lot more leveled out now that Jizaiah is not doing speech therapy. But they are usually Tuesdays at 8:30 in the morning and Fridays at 4 p.m.
Okay. If we're struggling with morning visits being on time and stuff, could we change those if Alayla were to give you a reason why 8:30 doesn't work for her or her infant's schedule?
She has told me why 8:30 doesn't work for her. Most of the time she says she accidentally falls back asleep.
Okay.
I have talked about this with my supervisor. We just need to see Alayla be responsible for 2 children.
Okay.
And I think it would be.
Okay. And part of that responsibility is whenever the visit is getting yourself there, correct?
Yes.
And so I'm not asking and you're not asking that we not do mornings just because we can't get up. We need to do that, correct?
Yes.
Perfect. But you're not asking for the visits to be suspended today. We're going to give it another try to see if we can be consistent, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And are there any other services you're adding today besides the anger management combined with the rational behavior to replace WAVE?
No.
Are you asking for any additional counseling?
Not at this time, no.
Okay, who is the new counselor, please?
It's Melissa Lawson.
Okay, where is she located? Same city?
I'm sorry.
Is she located in the same city or is that virtual?
She's located in Amarillo.
Okay, perfect. I'll pass this with Ms. Judge.
All right. Ms. Prader, was there some reason that Ms. Holman was sent to Prime as opposed to Care Express?
Yes, sir. Back in March of 24, Alayla raised a concern with me regarding her hair follicle, that they took too much hair. She did send me a picture of the hair that they shaved. And it was a pretty large spot, so she's asked not to go to Care Express anymore.
Okay, so Prime's another one that you contract with. That's why she went there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right, Mr. Ingram, you have any questions?
No questions.
Before I forget, I'm not going to order this because I have no idea about who monitors the visits, but I have no problem at all trying to accommodate Miss Holman with a newborn if we could move those morning visits to afternoons. But I'm not going to say when because I don't know how the system works. So just so you'll know that I don't have a problem with that, and it would be an accommodation that I think would be warranted. So. Okay, all right, Ms. Gutierrez, any further questions for Ms. Prader?
No further. Oh, actually, I do have a couple of follow-ups, Your Honor. I'll be quick.
Okay.
Ms. Prader, are we asking today that Ms. Holman go to Prime Medical for her drug screens?
Yes.
And what street are they on?
I believe they are on Olson.
And that's in Amarillo, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And again, we are asking the court to order mediation. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And in regards to visitation, are we asking for any changes in visitation?
No.
Okay. No further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Anyone else? All right, then. Gutierrez, any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor, I thought we were asking for a change in visitation, so I had asked Tristan Sutterfield to testify, but since Ms. Prader has said no, we're not asking for that. I no longer need Mr. Sutterfield to.
Okay, I'm letting him in so we can tell him that he's not needed.
Okay.
Well, he's not being able to connect to the audio. Someone might just give him a call and tell him he's not needed. Oh, there he is. Mr. Sutterfield, this is Judge Graham. If you'd unmute. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Sutterfield, they thought you might be a possible witness. They tell me now that you're not needed. So you're free to go, and we apologize for wasting your time.
All right. Thank you. No problem.
Thank you. All right, then, Ms. Grant, any witnesses?
Miss Holman, briefly, Your Honor. And I want to
Okay.
make sure that the court reporter can hear me. I'm actually traveling, so I'm pulled over.
Yeah, we can
Thank
hear
you.
you. And please make it brief. We're behind already.
Yes, Your Honor, this will be
Okay.
very brief.
Ms. Holman, you unmute.
Yes, sir.
All right, do you have video, Ms. Holman?
Yes, my hair is not done or anything.
Ma'am, this is a courtroom. Anybody that has video has to appear by video. So, all right, Ms. Grant.
Miss Holman, are you willing to re-engage with St. Francis based on our conversations?
Yes.
And you understand now why when Ms. Prader comes to your home, she may have different workers with her, but they're uninvolved in your case. Do you understand that?
Yes.
They're there for observational purposes for the safety of the other worker, and that's a standard procedure, okay? You understand?
Okay.
And you've missed some visits due to the birth of your infant and being early on in some of the morning stuff, correct?
Yes, it's just sometimes the visits are outside and he's too young to be in the heat like that. So if I have my sisters watch him, that's fine. If not, I just miss him.
Okay. So do you understand that the judge is okay now with moving some of those visits, but you need to communicate your needs to your caseworker? Do you understand that?
Yes.
And do you understand that if you're going to live with your sisters, it would be beneficial to your case if your sisters would drug screen for the department, but they're not going to be court ordered because they're not a subject. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Do you have any questions for me or the judge or anything I haven't asked you or cleared up that you would like to say?
Not really.
You got a car, correct?
My big sister did, yeah. And she's
Okay.
usually the one that takes me.
Okay, and you understand that you're going to be court ordered today to take anger management and rational behavior therapy and no longer court ordered for WAVE. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And you understand you're going to be court ordered for drug screening today at Prime Services before 4 o'clock. Can you make it to that appointment?
I should be able to.
Okay, if you have any questions, please communicate with your caseworker, okay? Would you be, do you still have Ms. Prader's contact information?
Yes.
And as soon as this court closes, could you please text Ms. Prader to re-engage with St. Francis on your case?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness, Judge.
All right, Ms. Gutierrez.
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Holman,
Yes.
are you currently working?
I should be starting my job next week, actually.
And what company is your job with?
It's
Let's
Cracker
not, excuse me, ma'am. Let's not say we're on YouTube. You don't need to be telling people where you work.
Oh,
Your Honor, may I ask what type of work it is?
Yeah, or you can just ask the caseworker to talk. Ms. Holman's gonna contact the caseworker. Ms. Prader can ask her where she's working.
Okay, I'll let it go through that route. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Ingram.
No questions.
All right. Okay, then, Ms. Grant, any other witnesses?
No, Judge, by the rest.
All right, thank you. Mr. Ingram, recommendations?
Continue department as temporary managing conservator, continue placement as is.
Okay. All right, then I will continue the department as temporary managing conservator, continue Josiah's current placement. I'll order that Ms. Holman successfully complete the RBT program and the anger management program in lieu of the, what was it, the WAVE program?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I'll order that Ms. Holman hair strand, UA, and alcohol drug screen by 4 p.m. today at Prime Services on Paramount Olson. I will order mediation in this case. I will order that Ms. Holman allow CPS and/or St. Francis to make announced and unannounced visits to the home, but that either St. Francis or the department bring no more than 2 people for those announced and unannounced visits. And I will order that the department or St. Francis pay for any and all drug testing that any of Ms. Holman's roommates are willing to take, because I can't order it. So, but if they're willing to take it, then I will order that the department or St. Francis pay for those drug tests. Okay, I will set a final in this case for December 2nd, 2024. That will be by Zoom like today's hearing, so parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket a day or two before December 2nd to see exactly what time we'll have that hearing. Permanency hearing. Okay, Ms. Gutierrez is with us for the department. Mr. Ingram's with us representing the child. Ms. Grant is with us representing the father, Mr. Stevenson. Ms. Grant, I don't show him in the waiting room. Were you expecting him?
Your Honor, I sent him the link, but I didn't get a reply whether he would be present or not.
Okay, well, this case was set for 9:30. I'm sorry, it's set for 9:25. It's now 9:45. We have another case at 9:50, so we're going to go ahead and proceed in his absence. I don't have anybody in the waiting room.
Okay.
Judge, I'm covering this hearing for my worker. She's out.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Sessions. Ms. Gutierrez, you can proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. The department calls Aaron Sessions as its witness.
All right, Ms. Sessions, if you'd raise your right hand, you swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you, Ms. Gutierrez.
Thank you, Your Honor. Aaron, who do you work for?
St. Francis Ministries.
And are you the supervisor on the case with Christian?
Yes.
And who is his father?
Troy Stevenson.
And who is his mother?
She has relinquished, sorry.
Okay, so the mom's already relinquished and there's an interlocutory order of termination. Is that correct?
Correct.
And Tamara Martinez filed a court report on July 19th of 2024. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, we ask that the court take judicial notice of that court report.
All right, so noted, and I have read the report.
Thank you, Your Honor. Aaron, are there any updates regarding the child Christian since the filing of the court report?
There are not.
Does he continue in his RTC placement in Caldwell County?
Yes.
Okay. And is he having any kind of visitation with his father?
His father's on the visitation list, so they can speak whenever they want. We do not supervise that contact.
Okay. To your knowledge, do they have those phone calls?
They do. I know at his last placement, there was dad wouldn't call as frequently as we would have liked him to, but I do know that they speak on occasion.
And Your Honor, may I ask if we are on YouTube, if we could please be taken off for this case?
Sure.
Thank you, Your Honor.